Now let's look a way of using conditional statements which is closer to real life. To do this, open the door family that we created in the previous lessons and go to the Family Types window. Let's say for this door, I want to set up such behavior when depending on the width parameter, one or another door panel is set. We have two nested families within the door: glazed door panel and solid door panel. We can switch between these types, replacing one with another, and we will see how the panel changed right in the model space. But let's say I want to make it in such a way that if my opening width is more than 900 mm, then the glazed door panel should always be substituted. But if it's less, we substitute the solid one. How to write such a formula? It would seem like the conditional statement can easily help us here. That is, we have a parameter that determines the door panel, and it seems like we can write a formula into it. Well, let's try to do it. I'll use the notepad again for this. Let's write down a condition here. It's simple. Width is greater than 900 mm. By the way, if we want to write a condition greater than or equal to 900 mm, then this will be quite complicated. There is no sign greater than or equal in Revit. But if we want to take this issue into account, here we need to use the OR operator and specify such rule that width will be either equal to 900 mm or greater than this value. And if one of these conditions is satisfied, the expression will return us the true value. Next, we will prescribe what would happen when the condition is satisfied and when it's not. If it's satisfied, we need to make sure that we have the glazed door panel. Let's copy the corresponding value for the parameter. If the condition is not satisfied, we take a solid panel. Well, we got such a conditional statement. Now let's try to insert this formula into Revit and see what happens. The program gives us the error. The following is not a valid parameter, glazed door panel. What's the problem here? Let's close this window. The fact is that any text that we write in the formula is perceived by Revit as a parameter name, and we don't have names such as glazed door panel or door panel among the parameters. It's the first column that is for parameter in the Family Types window, and we are trying to write the value of the parameter into the formula. We can write existing values into the formula. It's not a problem usually, but only numeral or text ones. Moreover, the text ones must be placed in quotation marks so that Revit understands that this is not a parameter name. However, if we put our value in quotes, we won't make it either. Let's try. Revit throws another inconsistent units error. This error occurs if the data type in the parameter doesn't match the one that is returned by the formula for that parameter. That is, the text was substituted into the result of the conditional statement, but our parameter should not contain text data at all. This is a parameter with a choice of nested families types, and it's reference to an object of the family type that should be put in its value. That is, it turns out that we cannot write the formula in this way. Let's delete it. How can we get out of this situation? If we had a numeric parameter, for example, then there wouldn't be a problem to write a number in the formula for it. Also, there is no problem to write text in the formula for a parameter with the text data type. but this must be done only with the use of quotes. But in our case, we need to specify a reference to the family type, and Revit doesn't provide a special syntax for this. So, we will have to create parameters where the required family types will be written in the values, and we will refer to them in the formula, which is always available. I will call these parameters in a quite simple way, for example, auxiliary parameter 1 and auxiliary parameter 2. They will be type 1s, as we are going to use them in the formula for another type parameter. And it's essential to specify the family type data type and the doors category. Everything is ready. I will set the value 100 door panel for this one. Let's now create a second similar parameter. We will prescribe 100 glazed door panel as its value. Let's use these parameters for our conditional statement. Let's go back to Notepad. If our condition is not satisfied, then we substitute auxiliary parameter 01. But if it is, then it's auxiliary parameter 02. Now the formula will simply take the parameter value as we are referencing to it. We have a solid panel because the opening width is 700 mm. If we set 1000 mm, then the glazed door panel will be substituted. Everything works great. We can click the Apply button and see that the panel has really changed, and now it changes depending on the width. I will return the value for the width parameter for it to match the type name, and also remove the auxiliary parameters into a group that we still do not use. For example, into the general group.